And we're live.
If people have a problem with a knife, what do you think they're going to say about your tomahawk?
About my tomahawk? I mean, I'm genetically predisposed to tomahawks. Not really. If we're really being honest, I'm genetically predisposed to birch bark canoes. But I can't fit one of those in here. So
Porcupine quills.
And porcupine quills. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday Q&A live stream that we are having here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are, I guess just before we go, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like guitar stuff, because that's what we do. We have, just so you know, tomorrow we have another video coming out. It is about, oh, you got some in your eye. It's about Telecaster pickups. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We got another video coming out on Monday. We got a bunch of stuff. We actually also have a live unboxing of a new guitar that I just got. So it has not even been out of the box yet. You will see that soon. If you are a Patreon member, I've been sharing some stuff that I have not shared with the rest of the world over there on Patreon. Or if you're a YouTube member, so you might want to join because it's pretty cool. It's probably some of the biggest news that we've had in quite a while, so that's pretty neat. Also, what else? Yeah, just use those links in the description to support the channel. And of course, come and order some pickups at Dylan Talks Tone because that's how you support the channel and that's what we do. So there you go. And I actually, today, I brought a list because I made a list because there's a few things that we need to talk about too. On Dylan Talks Tone, there is the special, like the little special section. You'll see it there. I forget what I call it. The Dylan Talks Tone Pickups Vault. And it's basically some custom stuff that we do. Only have like 1 or 2 copies of these things that I'm trying some kind of fun stuff, but I only make a couple of them. There's a set of P90s on there, and I felt a little too expensive, so I lowered the price on them by about $30 for the set. So, and your Patreon discount, if you have a Patreon discount, applies to that too. So you will be able to get those pickups for a lot cheaper. So just so you know, if price was a thing on that set, those are now lower a little bit. The other thing I want to talk about is, real quick, before we get to our Patreon questions, is the new Classic Vibe series that just came out. If you look on Guitar Magazine, anything right now, it's a new setup and they're about $500, right around there. Single hum Strat in some really cool colors. One of them has a matching peg head. There's a humbucker single Telecaster, which is really cool. And I'd like to build one of those for a project. So if you want to buy one of those, or if you want to end up with one of those with cool pickups in it and kind of all upgraded and stuff, please get with me and we will. I don't want to do the bass. I would rather just do one of the Strats or one of the Tellies. I'd really like to do the single hum Strat, or honestly, I'd really like to do the humbucker single Telly. So if that's something that you're into, get with me. You can hit me on the chat on the website, or you can send me an email, dylan@dylanpickups.com, and we'll figure out how to arrange that so we can get one of those guitars here. We'll do all the project stuff that we normally do, and then you can just buy it from me when I'm done. Because I think that'll be a good build guitar. Those Classic Vibes are usually very, very good, and I think that'll be a great kind of little upgrade project guitar. So I just wanted to mention that because I think they just announced them today. I don't know what the weight on them is. I didn't look at any of that stuff, but if somebody's interested, we can arrange it. Somebody mentioned today that they did not realize that our Tuesday podcast is actually a podcast. So we do the live stream on YouTube at 4 p.m. and then the next morning I upload it to all of the podcast platforms. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, all those podcast platforms that people normally use. Sometimes I get behind on them when we're really busy, but I've been very diligent about catching them up. And so if you are a person who does not have time to watch the whole thing and you want to listen to it while you're driving, it is on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. The Just Gonna Say It podcast, if you search it, it will come up. So, yes.
Go ahead.
A lot of people didn't know that. And so I just wanted to mention it.
Okay. Before you move on.
Yes.
You were just talking about the guitar thing.
Yes.
Project. Shane Walton said right-handed only, I assume.
I don't know. I have not looked that deeply into it.
And then Bibster's Repair Shop said, is there a blue version of it?
Dude, there's a greeny blue Strat with matching peg head. It's sick looking.
Okay.
Bibster, it'd be fun to do a project with you. That'd be cool. I've been on his podcast before. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. Let's get into, and if you have guitar questions, you can put them over here in the chat with a bunch of question marks in front of it so Leslie can pick them out. I will tell you we have a lot of questions tonight. So if you want to get bumped to the top of the pile, we'll stop what we're doing and we'll answer all super chats. So if you use a super chat, we'll just drop what we're doing and answer those right away. But we got a lot of Patreon questions tonight. So, all right. Questions from Patreon. We are ready. This subject that we're going to talk about tonight in the thumbnail is as a result of one of these questions, so we will get to it in a few minutes.
Cool. Patrick, I'm placing my order for the Enduro pickup in the neck. May I ask which of your humbucker pickup would go good in the bridge?
I would definitely do our DAF.
Doc, happy National Gourmet Coffee Day, Leslie and Dylan.
Nice.
Dylan, I could actually pronounce that. Some of the stuff he sends me, I can't even pronounce. Dylan, could you show how your old magnetizing setup is built and works? I think I need to build one for myself and was curious as to how you did it. Thanks as always. Cheers.
Excellent. I thought of it ahead of time to go grab it. Can you take that down so I can demonstrate it?
Sure.
Thank you. So, this is just a little bench vise. This is the Mojo Tone one, Doc. Now, I've done this the cheap way, and it's what we show like on some how-to videos and stuff with the 1-inch magnets from StewMac. And then you put it in a cheap bench vise, and you move the pickup back and forth in between them. And one of them is north and one of them is south. Well, south, north. Then I needed a second one because I have one out in Denver, I have one here, and I actually needed another one here. So I bought the Mojo Tone one. This is like $79. There's no affiliate link to this or anything. I'm just telling you, next level. It works so much better than just the 1-inch. Now, the 1-inch thing, we did it that way for like 6 years. It was fine. The little 1-inch round magnets. Totally great. You probably, Doc, actually, are playing my pickups with magnets that we magnetized with those 1-inch magnets. They're great. But this is faster. And it's less, like those 1-inch magnets, I feel like you have to go between it like 15 times or whatever. This thing you have to put in there and go, and it's done. Okay, so this is a lot faster. So the
sound effects required?
Yeah, it's that many.
Okay.
It's like salt and pepper. We've talked about this. There's a salt and pepper song. If you take your salt or your pepper and you go, neener, 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 it's the perfect amount of salt. Okay. There you go. Next question. Hey, I know stuff sometimes and I need to share it.
Charles, good evening, Leslie and Dylan. Thanks for sharing your evening with us. Thanks for being here so that we could share our evening.
Yeah. I mean, we could just shut the camera off and talk to ourselves in a room, and that would be weirder than talking to a camera with other people. Would it? With people on the other side of it. I don't know.
Talking to each other would be weirder?
Oh, no. I mean, okay. I meant talking to ourselves. I mean, like, talking to myself. Although I do that every day. I did that today.
All day.
All day.
Yeah.
even when there is no video being shot.
Exactly. So what's weirder? I mean, really?
Even when I'm not showing a video, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Timothy, when drop tuning, are chords played the same way? And when playing slide, do you push the string to the fretboard?
I don't have super amounts of experience in either of these things, but it depends on the kind of drop tuning that you're using and what you're doing it for. So if you're drop tuning like a half step down the whole guitar because your singer can't sing anymore because he's too old, because that's usually what happens. The fatigue on the voice makes it to where they want to sing a little lower, so you drop the whole thing down. And you play in the same places so that you're playing a half step down. There are some tunings where you do change where you play, but for the most part, I think you kind of stay in the same place. As far as the slide thing goes, this is something I don't have a whole lot of experience with, but I've watched people that are really good at it. You watch John Bollinger, for example. I've gotten to watch him quite a bit, and he's really, really, really good with a slide. And you don't push all the way down. You don't fret the note, but you do have to mute the strings that you're not picking with another finger so that they don't ring unintentionally. So there is a bit of lot of skill to that. Yeah.
Super chat from Doc Siltonen. He says, thanks. I will look at Mojo Tone tomorrow.
Excellent.
Cool. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know that I said that.
Thanks for the text today, Doc, by the way. He shot me a text today.
Charles just said one of my favorite quotes. He says, sometimes you just need expert advice. I talk to myself all the time.
That's
just
right.
saying. Yeah.
That's right.
Rob. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. Dylan, your recent Gretsch purchase and video has me wondering, what is special about a Filtertron pickup? How is it different than other pickups, humbuckers, P90s, etc.? Thank you.
The main thing is the bobbins are teeny tiny. Smaller than mini humbuckers. They're very, very tiny. And the way they assemble a real Filtertron, so you know the black plastic piece in the top? That's not like a cover. That's actually a panel with a bunch of holes in it, 12 holes in it. And the screws, that's a retention panel, that the screws go through that panel, and then they thread through the bobbins, and they hold the bobbins against that panel. And then there's a fat magnet. It's usually a sand cast magnet. It's about a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch square. It's not short and skinny and flat like a humbucker magnet. And then there's these other pieces that like this base plate that friction fits up in there. They're very weird. So the magnet contact with the coil is totally different. They're weaker magnets. The bobbins are really, really tiny. And that's why you're going to get like a 4.5K sometimes Filtertron. They're just super low output. Very, very low output. So the construction is totally different. Maybe in our next Patreon hangout, because you're in those, remind me, ask about this again, and we'll put up a diagram of it, and I'll show you kind of all the differences. And I think I have some pictures maybe on my phone where when I used to make them, like a layout of all the parts, and we could kind of walk through it. Next time we have our Patreon Zoom hangout, I'll kind of go into some more detail with that.
Robert. Oh, why is it so different? Another question related to Rob F. on Filtertrons. Oh, so this is on Patreon. They can see each other's questions. Mm-hmm. Have you tried Tim McNally's Filtertrons?
I have. They're the best. Yes. Tim McNally, a little biased because I like people who I like. I like
you like people.
I like
you
the
like,
businesses.
Like stuff you like.
Yes. I like the businesses of the people that I like, and if they make really good stuff. Tim is an extremely detail-oriented and conscientious person, and his products are so good. And of course, the tone is almost a byproduct of how good his stuff is. Plus, he's Canadian, right? So he's like nice, anyways. But he's very, very nice. Super cool dude. I had him on the podcast one time. We used to talk all the time on Facebook and stuff. Really, really great guy. The other guy that makes Filtertrons has been a jerk to me so many times that I don't even care about the other guy who makes Filtertrons. I would buy from Tim McNally every day of the week. He makes the best gold foil in the business too.
Zoltan, not a question, just a comment. 6th thing pros don't worry about.
From our video
the right technique. Like, you should only pick this way, or you have to angle the pick that way, or you shouldn't use the bridge pickup for that kind of lick, or,
arpeggios.
What is that? Arpeggios should only ever be played that way.
It's,
Me says whatever works and feels good for you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. Technique doesn't matter if you get the sound. And I think that goes with anything with any instrument. If you're getting the sound out of the guitar, well, we're talking guitars, that you want, it doesn't really matter how you got there. It doesn't matter what it was made of. It doesn't matter what it was set up like. If the result is what you want, then it's good.
So what are arpeggios?
It is a picking pattern.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That was funny. Let's see.
It's a specific way to do it. But
super chat from It's Victoria G. Thank you for the super chat. For Dylan's dental fund.
Oh.
How is your mouth, Dylan? Also, no cavities and then that. Talk about, well, that escalated quickly. Just not fair.
You got it. It's good. It's fine. It hurts. My jaw, they beat the crap out of my jaw to get my tooth out. And of course they had to do a bunch of, I don't know what happened. Hey, Doc, you're in the comments. What is involved in a socket preservation? So, I mean, like he could tell you, there's some work that goes into there. And so it's been pretty tender for about the last week. It's getting okay, though. I got to wait for it to heal up, and then they're going to go put the rest of the stuff in there and give me a fake tooth. So I have like a piece of plastic stuck in there with some stuff underneath it, and then it's stitched over it. Like, it's weird. But it's in there. It's fine. It'll be all right. It hurts sometimes.
Very nice of you to ask.
Yes. Thank you for thinking of my tooth.
I don't know where I was.
$4.99 will pay for a bottle of prescription ibuprofen.
Wow.
Once you. So thank you.
I know where I was. Vincent. Dylan, nerdy question for this week. I've been really getting into offsets lately, and I'm still trying to understand how tuning stability works for traditional Jazzmaster Jaguar bridges, also by extension the Sorkin bridge. On these types of bridges, how do you prevent the bridge post from binding, staying in a forward or backward position, even if the trim strings have technically returned to zero? I.e., I'm thinking of a situation where one pushes on the trim arm and the bridge tilts, whether forward or backward, and essentially collapses, stays in that position. Thanks.
That is a... you can take that down if you want, since it's blocking us. Thank you. That is a... Vincent, that is a... It's a matter of break angle over the strings. If you have a Jazzmaster or a Jag, if you can put a shim in it and give yourself some more neck angle, to bring your bridge up, just a piece of, cereal box will bring your bridge up probably 2 or 3 millimeters, and it will give you a few more pounds of string pressure down. And also make sure that on a Jazzmaster that those little set screws inside the main screws are totally sticking out the bottom. So the way the good ones are anyway, is the screws that go through the bridge are hollow, and there's an Allen key kind of inside it, and it's a little spike that comes out the bottom. If those aren't all the way out, if they don't stick out far enough, then the sides of the bolt will hit the bottom of that cup. So you want that pokey bolt, the pokey Allen key bolt, to be sticking out far enough to where it just pivots back and forth on that. You don't want that bolt hitting the bottom of that cup inside there. But sometimes you have to bring it up a little bit for that to happen, so that bolt will go farther enough down in there. But to do that, you got to give it a little more neck angle. So shim the neck a little and see if that happens. And that'll give you more brake angle like this over the top of that bridge, and that will give you more friction to not allow them to move around as much.
I have a question.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
Because Doc just pointed out, like, socket preservation is not vegan. He said socket preservation usually involves the placement of ground bone,
yep,
usually bovine or cadaver, into the extraction socket after the tooth has been removed.
That's what they did.
They put fake stuff in there?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, and that thing?
Yeah.
It's like a cap to keep it all in.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like because it looks like a regular,
I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't tell me what they did.
Yeah, they stuffed stuff in there.
You said that, but you didn't tell me it was bone.
Yeah.
No, you didn't tell me that.
I thought I did.
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. I would have definitely remembered that.
You probably would, yeah.
So
I would rather it be a
person
cadaver.
in your mouth.
See, this is why I don't want to be an organ donor.
Oregon?
Yeah.
Why? You don't want to be in somebody's mouth?
That, and I don't want to be like, my grandkids go to school or something, go to college, and they're like, have to dissect a person or a brain or whatever. And they're like, this is my great-grandfather's brain.
They don't know that.
I suppose not.
That's weird.
Anyway, that was a fear when I was a kid. Like, I was like younger when I first got my driver's license. Like when I was a teenager, I was like,
Organ donation creeped you out?
It did. It did.
I figure you just don't need them, so.
Yeah. No, I know. And now I feel differently about it because of CTE.
Yeah. You want your brain studied now?
I want my brain studied after I die. Yep.
Maybe before then they'll figure out how to study before you die.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or maybe they'll figure it out with all the brains that they're currently studying.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Sorry, y'all. Derailed. I have another question too, but we'll finish this. Robert. Now Gibson and PRS.
You need to put them on Patreon.
I'm not a patron.
Well, then super chat that junk.
I can't. It's like the same account.
Anyway.
Gibson is a term I saw on Casino Guitars comments. Cute. Is Gibson going too far on the silver burst confusion? On a side note, many are blasting the attorneys for making money, but they don't instigate the lawsuit. If you want their services, you'll pay their fee.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's dumb. I'm going to say that. I think it's dumb, but I also don't know all the details. I don't know enough about it to speak on it. I know that everybody's going to get in the comments and say Gibson sues everybody, blah, blah, blah. But we've talked about this so many times. I am a strong proponent of protecting intellectual property. Very strong. If you steal my stuff, I will sue you. I promise. But I just don't know enough about it to know if... I don't know. The other thing is, too... they're going to try to protect as much of that stuff as they can. So I'm not sure. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I think people hear about Gibson and they just stack it on all the things they hate about Gibson. But everybody's suing everybody about everything all the time. So, Apple had to take their Apple Watch off the market last year or last month. The one I'm wearing right here. I bought this, and then 2 weeks later, they took it off the market because somebody sued them for some patent
It's had it
infringement.
much longer than 2 weeks.
Whatever. No, 2 weeks after I got it, I'm saying. So, like a couple months ago, this happened. Yeah.
You just told me the other day, so I thought it would just happen the other day. So this is hilarious to me. Mr. Goat.
Hey, Jim.
I'd rather have a cow than a human. Them shits can chew for hours.
Well, that's true too.
And so Doc said the more difficult the extraction, the more material is required. Usually the grafted bone is then covered using a Gore-Tex membrane to prevent the gum tissue from invading, compromising the graft. So you probably could have bought that membrane from your friend.
Oh, yeah, because my friend in Arizona probably makes it because all the medical grade Gore-Tex stuff comes from Flagstaff, Arizona, where I used to live. Yeah. I didn't know it was Gore-Tex. That's pretty cool. But it is. It's like a white, it's a white membrane that they sewed in over it. And yeah, the harder the extraction, they took my tooth out with a pry bar and a fretting hammer.
I thought you weren't allowed to say that.
Well, Doc's not allowed to say it because he's a doctor and he said it scares the patients. But it
sounds terrifying.
It's exactly a fretting hammer. It looked exactly like a fretting hammer and a nail punch, basically. Because the tooth was broken into pieces and they had to beat it all out. So he was like literally beating on my jaw and it hurt so bad. It still hurts because of that. Anyway, next question.
Okay. Shane. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Talks Tone. I haven't seen that in a long time.
No.
PRS Advertising is claiming massive tone improvements thanks to the new peg heads on their tuners of some 2024 models. Does PRS actually believe this, or are they trolling us?
All right. So I'm literally trying to be better about writing down times because I think I'm going to try to be better at least the blocks of time on these live streams where we can timestamp kind of at least the main sections. Okay, so I don't know. I think it's dumb. I do. I think what real benefit is there? This is one of those things where, okay, so before I get going on my little soapbox here, I want to know from you. Now, we're not talking about design features. You guys don't get into stupid broken off peg heads and crap like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about marketing mumbo jumbo that is it really a thing or is it just marketing? What are things in the guitar industry, in guitar specifically? We could get into pedals and amps and all kinds of stuff, but let's talk about guitars specifically that you have heard and that you can think of. Marketing terms that we need to get to the bottom of, whether they're like just BS or whether they actually do a thing. Okay. I think this thing is dumb. I think it's probably got, I haven't seen it, but it's probably got some kind of mass increased or the way it bolts on or something to be more totally sustain bro. So that the sustain bros, I've decided to call them sustain bros. That's who they are. It's going to be a t-shirt at some point.
I was going to say, now you don't have to call them toners. You just call them all
sustain bros. Yeah.
You can all have the matching t-shirts.
Yeah.
You have to put in quotes like that, though?
Yeah. So I think it's for all those people to be like, oh, hey, this has way more sustain because I have these fancy tuners, but I don't think it really, and we're going to get into something else here that PRS does. You could measure anything on some vibration measuring whatever. I mean, a seismograph picks up an earthquake 100 miles away that you don't feel. And just because you measured it and because it happened doesn't make it meaningful to your life. So I don't think that it's a meaningful change. No, I don't think so. The things that I thought of in this same area of conversation is the TCI thing by PRS. It's a total marketing gimmick to put an acronym on something that every pickup builder does. Tuning capacitance and inductance during pickup design is something that every pickup builder does, who at least knows halfway what they're doing. So to put a label on it so that you can sell it doesn't make that pickup better than a different pickup. It just means that you called it something. It's like the Farfignugan of guitars. That's what it's like. I mean, TCI is the Farfignugan of guitars. I just came up with that, but it is literally true. That's exactly what it is. Or EFI. It's just like EFI. Electronic fuel injection. Ooh. Like, you know, or what are some other cars where they put something on the side of it and you're like, well, duh. That's what it is. It's in there. Duh. Like, you know. Headstock design is largely a gimmick. You know, when people put all kinds of fancy, crazy stuff, straight string pull and all this kind of stuff, they're trying to solve problems that don't exist. And so they, you know, do really extreme stuff. But the bottom line is, if the nut is cut properly, the guitar is going to stay in tune no matter what, unless it's really dumb, you know.
Super chat from Doc Siltonen. Thank you for the super chat, Doc. He said the idea of $1,000 set PAF clones, that seems like BS. How much better can they possibly be? Diminishing returns, in my opinion. Marketing hype.
You know, so that's a good one. You sent me a message about that today, and I think those $1,000 is a little crazy. You know, we charged more for our limited edition stuff, and I will continue to do that because it's limited and we don't do very many of certain things. So they're only going to do 100 sets or something, right? Are they worth $1,000? No, probably not. But they're limiting them. I understand what they're doing there, and Gibson does that kind of stuff, and they're always very successful about it, so you can't really argue with it. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's totally just kind of a gimmick.
Super chat from Alexander. Thank you for the super chat. Question: I have a 2004 Hum Strat with S1 switch, and the humbuckers are quiet on 135, but buzz when split on 2-4. Suggestions for killing hum on 2-4?
You won't be able to, because basically what's happening is in various circumstances you have hum canceling, and other circumstances you don't have hum canceling. And that's how that guitar works. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, by the way.
So some folks wrote in the gimmicky stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doc Siltonen said super handling all-wheel drive. Van Shank Guitar said, like the silver wire pickups.
Yeah, good example.
BC Rich 581 said Chevrolet Crossfire fuel injection was something I always wondered about.
It's the worst. In the 1984 Corvette, it's the worst.
And Rusty Shackelford said, if PRS does the TCI thing to all of their pickups, but labels some TCI an upcharge, couldn't they be sued for false advertising or fraud?
No, but here's what they do. They have a piece of equipment that they put them on, and they measure them and document them. So we could do the same thing. We could have a multimeter and an inductance meter. You know, we could say these pickups have been individually tuned. Because, you know, I don't measure every parameter for every pickup. So we measure resistance for every coil multiple times throughout the process, right? So I wind it, I measure it. I assemble it, I measure it. I wax pot it, I measure it. Because I want to make sure I didn't break something or ruin something along the way. But we don't check magnet gauge except for one time. We don't check inductance every time. Every time I change spools of wire, I do, because it can change up with various batches of wire and stuff. So we could be crazy and we could be like, this is a special edition of pickups where we measure everything, and it takes me an extra 5 minutes and I could charge another $50 for that set of pickups because, ooh, I measured all the things on every pickup. But it didn't change the pickup at all. It just, I documented it, and I could give you a little piece of paper and be like, give you a bunch of measurements that you don't know what they mean, or, you know, you might, but most people don't. Like, this is all the numbers, and I could write it with a pen so that it looks like I hand wrote it, and we could be all super fancy and like, ooh, look at that. But it doesn't change the pickup. It'd be exactly like another pickup sitting next to it. It's just you paid for this extra documentation that actually means nothing to the actual performance. And that is what they're doing, basically.
I lost my place. Oh, hang on, it's further up. Okay, one last comment on the gimmicky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Wallace said, EcoBoost sounds environmentally friendly, but turbos sound like racing and anti-environmental friendly. But they are the same. Yes, I said it. LOL.
That's funny. No more guitar-related ones?
Not those.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the other thing is body materials. Whatever guitars are made of. You know, they'll come up with some kind of wood, and then they'll say that it's got this particular whatever. And I know for a fact the reason they do it is because they got a bunch of it. I know that for a fact because the guy that does it calls me and tells me, well, I'm in so-and-so city, and this is no lie. I've gotten these phone calls. This is for real. People try to call bullshit on me on this. Like, I don't actually know this guy because I don't say his name publicly. His name is Mike, okay? He has a real name.
I've met him.
Yeah,
He's real.
Him. He's real. And, you know, he's called me and said, so I'm in so-and-so, I don't want to give up too much stuff, but I'm in so-and-so city, and they called me up here because they've got all these trees that are growing in the middle of the street. Like, they've got these trees that are, you know, they were supposed to be for decoration. And so we're going to pull all these trees out, and I'm going to buy them, and we're going to cut them down, and we're going to mill them into whatever. And then this particular guitar company is going to buy this wood from me after we take them out of these sidewalks. And they're going to make this reclaimed series of guitars with this special blah, 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 blah. And you can probably guess who it is. And they came out with this fancy guitar, and it was a bunch of money, and it was trees out of a sidewalk in the middle of a town. You know, like, but they figured out a way to make it special and charge money for it. And it's not tonally superior. It doesn't make the guitar sound better. There's nothing special about it except for where the wood came from, because they came out of some sidewalks in some city.
Doc Siltonen said urban ironwood.
That's the one. Those are it. Mike called me when he did that deal. I remember when yeah. And it's not urban ironwood. It's some dorky tree that we all know. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's some tree that everybody knows. It's like a normal
tree.
Yeah, it's just a normal tree.
Mm.
But they called it urban ironwood, and they made those. They were pretty. They were cool. And, it has a particular tonal quality, and it's reclaimed and all this stuff. And they market it, and of course they sold them, but it's just growing out of some sidewalks. Like, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff, and that's why we try to get to the bottom of it on our channel, because I think there's just so much of it. So, Anyway, let's get into some random questions that you might have over there.
Can I ask my random question?
You can ask your random question. You bet.
How much comment hate did you get after the last week's live stream?
None. Everybody was like, "That was so cool."
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. Don't you all think that last week's live stream was very well
I'm
received?
not looking for validation.
Like, I think
I was just curious.
It was fun. It was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. It was probably one of my favorite ones we've done in a long time. And I wanted to do it because I wanted to bring a little bit more of what everybody that hangs out until 9 o'clock and we do this after hours thing. I wanted to kind of bring that vibe to more people and to bring them value. I think it worked. It was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's Victoria G. already sent a super chat with the same question.
Oh.
Checking on your mouth. Octopus Ears. Are you familiar with Lawrence Petros, aka LPD Pedals?
No.
That was easy. T-Bone. Good evening, Dylan and Leslie.
Good evening, T-Bone.
Dylan, do you have a preferred neck radius?
Fretboard radius, I like 12. 10,
Also,
10 to 12.
What's your pizza toppings?
Pizza toppings are going to be some kind of red sauce, vegan cheese, olives, artichoke hearts, some kind of greens like spinach. I like some roasted garlic. I like a lot of that stuff. I don't eat meat, obviously, so no meat. But I would pretty much have anything on a pizza. Mushrooms, broccoli, pineapple. I don't care. I'll have pretty much anything on pizza.
Doc Stilson wants to know, what's the drink of the evening? Figured I'd squeeze that in before it was gone.
Gourmet coffee. This is some cold brew. Actually, this is the cold brew that I made for the video.
Is it already out? Yeah, Sunday. No.
Yeah, it came out. It came out Monday.
Monday.
Or whatever. This is the cold brew I made in the video, and then I have some coffee liqueur from a distillery in Kalamazoo, Michigan, that I just put for a little taste in there.
Little taste.
Yep.
All right. Ada, dear Dylan, can I swap a cheap guitar amp speaker to a full range, good quality speaker? Not specifically for a guitar amp. Is it a good idea?
It will just sound different, and you just have to decide if it sounds right for you. I mean, really. And the power rating and stuff, and this, they don't call it signal to noise ratio and that. They call it, the speaker efficiency might be a little different. So your overall power and your loudness and your breakup and stuff might change.
You asked the question. So Mr. Goat said last week was a good one. C Stone said, which is a name I've not even seen. Last week's stream was cool and different. It's good to change things up a bit. Get the women more involved.
I think so too.
You thunk it?
I thunk it. That's why I did it. I've been consuming another
Pause. Super chat from Steve Rezer. Thank you for the super chat, Steve. I would rather have a Cindy's guitar made of really old wood from buildings and churches in New York than sidewalk wood.
I'm with you. There's a place in Detroit. Are they called Detroit guitars? Are they called something? But they bought this factory, and they've been making guitars for years from the wood from this factory in Detroit. And it's cool. I think it's an old car company. It's really neat. I had a guitar one time, and the body was made out of chestnut, and it had an aluminum top on it, and it was all engraved with scroll work, and it was a one-piece chestnut back, and it was this big. Obviously it was the size of a guitar. It was a telly, and it was the header from a door, like this huge header from a door out of this 100-year-old house, but it was chestnut. So yeah, I think that stuff's really cool.
Who had some kind of boardwalk something?
We did. We had
Where did it come from?
From the Coney Island the Coney Island amusement park. We had fretboards made out of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I knew there was something.
Mm-hmm.
There was something about a boardwalk.
Yeah. And I got another buddy that's got a bunch of wood from Elvis's fence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Kind of neat.
All right. I'm going to say it like I said. The, capital letters, the Itchy Brutta.
Nice.
Dylan, you make a staple pickup with adjustable magnets?
We do not.
Kent.Poodles for me. How difficult is it to roll edges on a PRS SE and 59 Epi standard? Thanks, Dylan.
It's very easy. Just be careful when you do it. Don't overdo it. Basically, you just take a really fine file or maybe some 600 or 400 grit sandpaper so it's not super aggressive, and you just do it. Look at a picture, have another guitar handy, feel that one, feel this one, feel that one, feel this one, keep going back and forth until you get it right. I mean, that's what you do, feel like this edge. Okay, if I want it to feel like this edge, all right, and sand a little bit. Nope, doesn't feel like this edge yet. Just kind of keep comparing it and just work your way down and take your time. Yep.
Lee Asbury, where do you get your magnets? I'd like to try some different ones to experiment in some of my pickups. By the way, I actually have a magnetizer in my closet I bought about 15 years ago, and he was having trouble. I want to say he was trying to say he never used. But I don't know. I had problems the other day. Like, it kept submitting my comment before I was ready for it to. And I feel like that's what was happening to him, but then it gets all disjointed. Anyway, his question is, where do you get your magnets?
I get my magnets, I import my own because we buy thousands at a time. For you, as a hobby, it sounds like you're lean more towards the hobby side and not towards the production side. My favorite magnets that are readily available come from Mojo Tone, and they do a nice job. The magnets are good. You can get a bunch of different sizes. They have a lot of different bar magnet sizes, which is really nice. So lengths of humbucker magnets, different ceramics in different dimensions, stuff like that. That's where I would go for you. We order, 5,000 single coil magnets and 1,000 humbucker magnets at a time. So, and I don't, without sounding like a jerk, I don't really give up my sources for this stuff because it's taken me 10 years to get it to the point where it's at. And so, especially because if I give away where I got my stuff, then people can do homework and figure out parts costs, and it turns into this, well, you only pay this much for this, so I don't know why your pickups are $100. And I'm like, well, come here and wind one, I'll show you. But yeah, that's kind of why we don't. But for you, I would say Mojo Tone would be the number one. That's where I would go if I was in your position. And actually, I still do order from Mojo Tone quite a bit. I get my Alnico 8s for my Super 8s come from them because we make less of those than other pickups. I get my Alnico 2s for our Thruxtons from them. Really high quality stuff. Yep. So there's a couple where I get them. Yeah.
Sir Sneaker Pimp, why do you think Fender is good at reinventing the wheel with their instruments and other companies struggle? PRS is as good at it as well, but Gibson doesn't seem to be.
I don't think Gibson's not good at it. I think Gibson gets more shade because I don't understand the bone that everyone has to pick with Gibson. I don't understand it. I've never understood it. Fender is just as bad at everything that Gibson has been bad at in the past and will be again in the future as things cycle and as things rise and fall, right? So you think about other industries. You think about the car industry, for example. Dodge was amazing. Then they sucked. Then they were amazing again. And then they got bought out by Renault and they sucked for like 20 years. And then they still suck. But, the Chevy, same thing. All through the 60s and stuff, they're amazing. 70s, they sucked. 80s, they were terrible. 90s, they were worse than terrible. And now they're kind of back and they make some really good stuff. Harley Davidson, when they got bought out by AMF, like all these things happen and it just rises and falls and ebbs and flows and who's in charge and that kind of stuff. But overall, all the brands are putting out the best guitars we have ever seen in all of history. And I don't think there's any reason to dislike the legitimate brands that we're talking about here. Not the rip-off brands, but the legitimate brands. I don't think there's any reason to look at one any worse than the other. I think they're all making great stuff. And as far as the reinventing the wheel thing, we did a podcast on this a couple weeks ago about why I think the three main brands should not innovate. I think they should make what they've always made because that's what they do. We talked about it in that podcast that, when you buy a buck knife, there's all kinds of modern buck knives, but you buy a buck 110 Hunter, that's what you buy because it's a buck. When you buy Levi's, you buy 501s, 550s, or 505s. That's it. That's what they're for. When they come out with something else, yeah, some people like them. But everybody knows that Levi's are 501s, 505s, and 550s. It's the same thing with the legacy brands. They can come out with new colors. They can come out with new things like that. And I think it's okay, but they just need to keep doing what they do so that I always have, and you always have, a place to go buy a Les Paul. If I want the real Les Paul, if I want the real SG, I have a place I can go get it. If I was to go to Gibson and say, I want an SG, and all they had was some funky color, and I'm like, no, I just want a vintage style SG. Fender had this problem for about 5 years where there was not a real Stratocaster or a real Telecaster. I know because I put off buying one. I went and wanted to buy a good American Telecaster and a good American Stratocaster. And when I went to do it, there was not a good old American Stratocaster. This one had 6 saddle bridges. That one had, some other wacky bridge on it. This other one had pickups in it that were noiseless. This other one had an S1 switch in it. This other one had, so there was not a traditional Fender Telecaster or Fender Stratocaster. For about 4 or 5 years, they were doing all this weird stuff. And I'm just like, I can't handle this. It drives me nuts. Like, I just want one. Now I have one. I bought the American Vintage 2, and it's great because they came to their senses and they are doing what they do best. If you want an evolution of that guitar, then you go buy a Sir, or you go buy a PRS, the Silver Sky, or you go buy whatever. Those other brands that have branched off and done their own things, people that have left Fender, people that have left Gibson, and they're doing their Gibson-ish sort of things, or Fenderish sort of things, then you go buy those and you let the main brands do what they do. Yeah. Okay.
6 minutes.
Cool.
Mr. Goat. Odessa makes Filtertrons. Odessatrons for $125, I think. I haven't tried them personally. I'm not a Tron feller.
I would also recommend him. John's great.
Yep.
Great guy.
He's real too. I've met him.
He's great, man. He invited us to his house. Oh, yeah. He's a great dude.
Kevin Bright. Hey, dude. I love what you do. Thanks for having this channel.
Thank you.
Mtando or Montano and I don't know. Looking at putting your Hot 5 Strat pickups in a CV Mustang. Better to use neck and bridge or middle and bridge?
It doesn't matter. Just order 2 of them. I will wind them, and I will wind them to match. Just put a note on there that they're going in a Mustang, and then I will wind them to match, and then I'll wind them reverse wound, reverse polarity. We'll make them right. That happens all the time. People do that all the time. They'll just leave a note on it and say, "Hey, I'm using this for something weird. Can you just make sure it works?" And I'll take care of you.
IBJI. Any benefit to converting Nashville style bridge to ABR1? Seen videos that swear by the increase in resonance.
I think it's dumb. Anybody who says increase in resonance is killing sustain, just so you know.
Joe Meyer, is plecking a gimmick?
Nope. It's amazing. If you can afford to have all your guitars plecked, you should. It's great.
Alex H. How do you think a Duncan distortion would sound if I swapped the magnet to an A2 or A5?
It would compress really weird. That pickup is so dark anyway, and then you put an A2 in it, it would just be, I think it would just turn to mud. I really do. Even more muddy than it already is because it's pretty muddy. Yep.
A couple of things over here. Charlie Gabaldon says, I'm loving the T6 setup I got from you.
Oh, excellent.
Angel Raven 444 says, thanks, Dylan. I took your advice and cranked the truss rod and fixed my ping. Thanks.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Let's see. Curtis Chavez. Dylan, have you tried any parlor acoustics that flick your bick?
Yes. I am not a fan of the PRS one. If I was going to buy like just a kicking around one, well, okay, to be very honest with you, the Close carbon fiber travel guitar is freaking amazing. I love that thing. For a parlor size guitar. For a regular parlor guitar, I have always felt that those guitars are kind of kicking around guitars. So yeah, you could go get like a Martin Triple Lot or something. But to me, to feel legit, I would get like a Recording King. I think those things are really neat. I don't have one, but because I have enough small guitars now, but like a Recording King, like that kind of, those throwback brands, I think are really neat. Because to me, they're not a serious sound. To me, that's how I use them. Is it like a couch guitar, And so that's where I would go. I think they're very cool. The PRS one is garbage. I thought about buying another one. Well, I didn't ever buy one. I was going to buy one at the last Black Friday sale because when they first came out, they were terrible. And then I was like, I wonder if they're any better. And they were on sale for like $349. And I was going to buy one. And I think they ran out of them or something. So I never got one. So maybe I'll pick one of those up and we'll see if they got any better, because when they first came out, they were terrible.
Only 1 minute, but 3 things to go.
Let's go.
Rick Nelson, what is this tiny circular route in my Made in Mexico strat near the lower horn? I read it's a CNC orientation reference, but I give little credit to what I read in those places. Thanks for all you two do.
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Doc Siltonen, I have some spruce that is being kiln dried at the moment. The tree fell on my woodshed at camp, so I decided to take some billets from it to make some guitar tops from. Hopefully soon.
Cool.
Mr. Goat, do you and Texas Toast Guitar guys make fun of each other about your individual tone wood stance? Who will convert first, or is it a gimmick?
I think we feel exactly the same about it. We have had many conversations about this. And Chris explains it better than just about anybody. And the way he explains, and I love how he explains it. I kind of stole it from him. Tone wood and electric guitar matters to a person. It matters as much as the tactile feel of the guitar moving in your lap matters. If that matters to you, then pick a guitar that does that more. Totally resonant, bro. But just know that can be at the expense of sustain. So what is more important to you? The feeling in your lap or the length of the note? Because the two things cannot be there at the same time. However, at the same time, they're not very measurable. So it doesn't really matter. Just get what you like.
All right, 901.
901. It's off-topic hour. This is where we just go off topic. So here's what you do. You ask any question you want, and we will probably answer it. There are no guitar questions unless they are in a super chat. After 9 o'clock, we only take guitar questions in a super chat. Although the very first off-topic question is sort of It's
sort of -y?
Well, I had one come in from Patreon. It's very involved. We're going to talk about it for a few minutes.
Okay.
So let's do that first, and then I've got a couple of off-topic things that I on my list here.
Okay. Ooh, Zoltan.
Yeah.
Hi, Leslie and Dylan. My question is rather off-topic, but with on-topic implications.
Yeah, that's why I said.
As a consumer, I'm finding that ad interruptions on YouTube and spam on Facebook are reaching unsufferable proportions. At some point, the junk will just drown out the actual value I'm getting out of consuming legit content on these platforms. The nuisance will exceed the enjoyment, if you will. I'm starting to spend more time suppressing or skipping unwanted stuff and seeing less and less of what I'm actually interested in. And I know I'm not alone. How do you, as a content creator and a small business owner, relying on the online communities, think about it for your future sustainability and growth? If YouTube keeps unsubscribing your followers and your customers have to go and dig to find your content because Facebook doesn't show it in their feeds anymore, at some point you too might think about not wasting your time producing these contents anymore.
That is those observations it's all real. Mm-hmm. All of that is real, man. And I do think about it. There are solutions. So here's a couple things. No content is free. Okay. Somebody gets paid. So the way I'm going to just talk about, first of all, my content consumption. I pay for YouTube Prime because I view, outside of, I use regular television, like my YouTube TV, regular TV channels for sports. That's it. I don't watch television. So YouTube is TV for me. I don't want commercials. So I pay the $15 a month or whatever it is so that I don't have any ads. I view that as this is how I get rid of ads. If I was not in a position to, or if I was too cheap to, or for some reason made a decision not to pay that $14.99, I would have to accept the fact that the ads are there because the service, YouTube, costs money to run. As a small business owner, I understand that it costs money for things to happen. They don't just happen by themselves. So somebody has to pay for something. There's no such thing as free content. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they're all ad-driven platforms. So
yeah, as a creator, you may get to use, not pay for the platform,
right.
but somebody's paying for it. Yeah.
Right. And as a consumer,
yeah,
you are paying with a $14.99 a month for your no ads.
Yeah, premium service.
Premium service.
Everybody does that now too.
Correct. Yeah, Hulu, Netflix, everybody. Or you pay with your time by watching the ads. My time is more valuable, and the irritation, like you were talking about, is more valuable to me. So on the consumption side, and I should mention, if you buy and we don't get, I wish we got affiliate links for YouTube Premium, but we don't. But what we do get is more money. So if you want to support the creators that you support and not YouTube as much, get the premium thing. Here's why. YouTube is 60-40 split. Actually, it's 55-45 now. Split with the creators. The ad revenue from YouTube Premium is only based on the channels that you subscribe to. And it splits your money between the creators that you subscribe to. So I make more money and you more effectively support the creators that you love, not just me, but all of the ones you subscribe to, more when you subscribe to their premium thing than if you just watch ads. So there's a principle thing there too. As far as the impact that it has on the business, I can't live without it. We have to have it because this is how the world works in 2023. That being said, the reason we use Patreon so much now, and we are starting to post more content over there and be more active over there because I'm really trying to. And the reason we talk about Patreon and the YouTube members as far as like the questions and stuff on Thursdays is because of that. It's because I want people to understand. I want them to get value out of the content, but I also want them to understand what it takes to make the content and that time is valuable. So we won't stop making content, but I also know that we have had to deal with a higher percentage of churn, which is a technical term for people who quit subscribing versus people who start subscribing. Basically, the people you lose versus the people you gain. In recent years because of the ad thing. But it's just puts it back on us to make good content. I mean, you know.
And I'm not as familiar with YouTube, but he also mentioned Facebook. And I use Facebook a lot. And Facebook has features where you can, just because you like a page or you're in a group, you have to take an extra step to say, I want to follow all the posts here. And then it shows up as a notification. So it may not be in your feed like you would expect, but you will get notifications for all of that. So I think that's just like a two-step process that Facebook has. There's a couple of things.
I appreciate that question And again, I should say I'm not trying to get people to buy a service for the sake of buying a service, but I don't think people understand the value in it.
Yeah. Band Shake Guitars. This comes in like a super chat. I don't really understand it. I guess I get a free something. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
He is celebrating 37 months of membership. That's over 3 years. That is wild. Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you.
Don't like ads. Pay for premium. That's what Ivan says.
Honestly, and that's the way of the 21st century.
And
it is.
One more. Ingest 9. Leslie, your hair looks fabulous.
I said the same thing before we started. She just got it cut yesterday. It looks awesome. Well, and usually you just like put it up in a bun and come in here.
Yeah.
Too, so it's more fixed than normal.
Whoops. I accidentally clicked that and I don't even know what that means. She filled up on vacuums. What does that mean?
I don't know. Thanks for the question, Zoltan. I feel this stuff. It's funny. I think people don't think that we sit around and think about this, but I spend a lot of time thinking about making our content valuable because I know that people get annoyed by that stuff.
I'm going to read this, even though it's kind of mean, but I know how the person they're talking about feels about it, so I feel okay to say it. In Just 9, same person that just sent that super chat in, from a fellow female who appreciates great hair on YouTube videos, Baxter from Casino Guitars is the worst.
That's so funny because that is so funny. When you know so I know Baxter pretty well. Yeah. We know Baxter and Taylor and his kids pretty well. And I will tell you, we've gone in, to their house and stuff many times. The thing about Baxter and his hair is it's not his hair.
It is his hair.
His hair is a reflection. It's a part of his personality. He is that hair. Like,
oh my gosh.
He wouldn't, if he fixed his hair, he wouldn't be Baxter.
No, it is, I understand what you're trying to say because it is I was just thinking when I read that, like, if you don't know him, that's probably what you see.
Right.
But once you know him, he makes sense. He's going to have a jacket on.
With a t-shirt.
Yep. And his hair. And that's Baxter. I could spot him across his town probably.
And I'll tell you what's interesting about him too. You look at him and you think, is he a slob? Because he wears...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. His house, immaculate. His kids, always immaculate. His wife is beautiful too. Her name's Taylor. She's super cool.
She's the mayor of their town now.
She's the mayor now?
Yeah.
Really? I knew she was on the city council because
she ran for mayor and she is the mayor.
Oh, wow. That's totally cool. Because when we were there the last time,
she was on city council.
She had gotten elected to city council.
No.
Wow, very cool.
She's the mayor.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, no, they are a fantastic family. And their shop, it is the best guitar store I have ever been in, period. So, and once you meet him in person and hang out with him for 10 minutes, he'll be like, I totally get it.
Yeah. And
I see why you're saying that.
Sometimes you can't fight genes. I don't know that he can help it. That's his hair.
I can't help my hair.
If your hair was, your hair is
it's
crazy.
Long right now. Yeah. It's long right now. And it just does.
It's going to do what it wants to do.
Yeah, it's going to do what it wants to do. Yeah. I'm the same way. My hair doesn't look like his, but mine's the same in the respect that it's going to do what it's going to do. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Victoria G. Baxter is his hair in the same way that Brian May is his hair.
Yes. If Brian May, had different hair, he wouldn't be Brian May anymore.
I love this. Anyway.
It's like Slash when he takes his glasses off.
And I normally, if I did not know that person, I would never have even said that out loud. But I know him, and I also know that he knows that that's what people say about him, and he thinks it's funny too.
Yes.
So.
He thinks it's funny. He plays into it too, so it's cool.
Tim Ziegler, do you grind your coffee beans?
Yes. I have 3 coffee grinders.
Matthew Altmaier, suggestions on around a less than 4-inch closed position pocket knife, sub $100 range. I have an SW M&P 2.0 knife because I have something else M&P 2.0, but
So
it's
do I.
definitely a cheap, not terribly sharp knife.
Civivi Cogent. It's the purple and black Civivi that you have. Civivi Cogent. It's a button lock, like a drop clip point. Hers is black and purple, but they come in a bunch of different colors. Really good steel. Civivi has great edges, and I think that knife is about $60. It's G10 scales. Civivi Cogent. That's a great knife in that size for under $100. I don't think I have anything in here under $100. There might be Spyderco Delica 4 might come in a variety that is under $100, but you might have to get it on sale. Spyderco Delica 4 might be another one.
Or go to Spyderco.
Or go to Spyderco because then you get a discount.
Yeah. Dr. Tim just got a Scrivener fountain pen.
Oh, sweet.
And it writes with the best and most resonant tone I have ever experienced. I call it my tone pen.
I mean, pens do have a sound. They do have a sound.
So do y'all just coincidentally like the same things?
Yeah, it's happening more. Tim and I keep happening.
Crossing paths.
Speaking of that, there is a comment that came in late.
Oh.
Ivan on Patreon. Ivan says, "Hi, Dylan and Leslie. I might miss the live first half, but I will be around for part of the late show."
He was on early, by the way.
Oh, okay. Between the both of you, who is better at decorating?
Decorating?
It depends. Do you want your house to look like a knife shop, a gun shop, or a guitar shop? Then I'm better at it. If you want your house to look like a
house.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's something you have to do. It's not anything I enjoy.
It's not high priority for us.
I
do
not care. I do not want stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want knick-knacky stuff. I don't want stuff sitting around. If there's nothing on the floor and nothing on surfaces, that would be ideal for me.
Yes. I mean, I'm out of room here. Hopefully you'll, yeah. I'm hoping that we will be able to change that soon.
Yeah.
We're in the process of hoping.
And when it comes to that, because I over-research and over-analyze everything, I've changed, like, what I want to do to my office, like, 3 times.
Oh, in your new office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
I haven't even been able to imagine it yet. I kind of have an idea, but I'm really struggling with it.
I just have to make a decision.
I get it.
Or I'll probably just do nothing. That's probably what will happen. Steve DeAndrea said, "Wow, after Zoltan's comment, I checked to see if I was still subscribed. Nope, unsubscribed for the 2nd time. Why does YouTube do this? I don't know. Everybody go check to see if you're still subscribed."
I don't know. Please do. We're so close to 100,000. I wish people would. It would be such a big deal to me. I don't know why. It just would be.
Has been for years. We thought you were going to do this like years ago.
I know. It's the slowest growing channel on YouTube. I'm no lie, man. I hear these people and I'm like, yeah, I started a YouTube channel last week and I have 70,000 subscribers. I'm like, oh, come on, man. But it's because they're talking about, I don't know what. I don't know why. It's probably because I'm, let me tell you something. I went to the dealership today and I got out of the car and I got mobbed. There's like 5 car salesmen And my plan was not even to talk to any of them.
And the funny thing is, most of the time you go, you can't find somebody to talk to.
Right. So I know the manager at this dealership, and I was going to talk to him about something completely unrelated. These 5 guys, just like everybody mobs me at the same time. And one guy goes, "Hey, you're Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone." Well, it turns out that I knew who this guy was. I'd never met him in person, but I'd seen him. He plays music around here. He knew me because he's going to be watching this. He watches hi Jim. He watches every one of our videos. I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
Oh, every one. He's like, that last video about 5 things, blah, blah, that was yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Or that was Tuesday. Yeah, he knew all of it. He's like, he knew I had an Audi. He knew I had a motorhome. He follows everything.
I didn't know that.
And so, anyway, he was telling me, he's like, I appreciate the fact that you just still remain yourself and you think what you think. And I was like, I really appreciate that, because that is a thing that I fight all the time. Because if we played the YouTube game, we could probably be way bigger than we are. And I just refuse to do it. I'm like, I'm going to tell you what I think. And if you don't want to subscribe because you disagree with me and you can't take an actual conversation that goes 2 ways instead of just coming here to be like, please make me feel good about the purchase I just made. I'm not that guy. So, whatever. It's cool. We've made some really good friends, though.
Mm-hmm.
What other off-topic stuff you got in there?
Bandchamp Guitars, thank you for the super chat. He said maybe if you talked more about Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift for the algorithm. Oh, I have 2 things off-topic on my thing, too.
I still have things to talk about.
Just 2 things. Well, I'll give you one thing.
Rude.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, and then we'll talk to that. Tomorrow is our 11th anniversary. I just wanted to say that. And I bought flowers for her today, and they're awesome. I was gonna buy her a present, but I've already ordered her a new desk chair, so we're counting that. I'm counting that.
You ordered it like how long ago? You weren't even thinking about it.
It's taken forever. I was thinking about an anniversary present then, and I still didn't know what to get you. I was literally texting Brianna last night, like, I want to get Mom something, but I don't know what to get her. I'm like, because we're trying not to spend money on stuff right now, and I'm just like, what would I? Because I was like, she would come up with something like, get her a coffee cup, or she would come up with something more reasonable. That I'd be like, I'm gonna go buy you jewelry, and she would come up with a coffee cup or a T-shirt or something fun like that, but she couldn't come up with anything either. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go get her flowers tomorrow, and she's like, well, that's probably a good idea. So I did that today. I did it today because I could be alone. I was by myself today, so I could actually stop and get flowers and surprise you with them. So anyway, that's my one thing. We can catch up on some other stuff. I got some other stuff.
Okay. Now people are just going to say happy anniversary.
Thank you. Where do you want to go for dinner tomorrow night? Indian food?
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Indian food.
Super chat from Paul McNary. Thank you, Paul. I didn't even know you're here tonight. He said happy anniversary.
Thanks.
That's really nice.
Oh, that's like half of our Indian food. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely not an expensive date.
No.
Actually,
we might split something. That might be all of our Indian food.
That's funny. Jason Albert said, isn't getting her an office chair the same as getting her a vacuum? No.
No, it's not.
I'm really excited about this office chair.
Yeah.
So,
There's going to be a video.
Is there?
Oh, for sure. I can't
current
can't spend that much money on it.
It's
this one.
But when I sit at my desk, there's a heating pad in my seat because I'm always cold, and I have a little foot, like you're supposed to have your feet tilted when you sit at a desk for ergonomics. And it has heat also, so I sit with my feet on a heater all day. So anyway, I'm always cold, always have heat going. And this chair has heat and cooling, which I probably never would need. and massage. And I was like, yes, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
It was one of those December 28th purchases.
Super chat from Vinny's World. He says, happy anniversary.
Thank you, Vinny.
Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate that.
Now I'm going to hate that you said something.
Hey, man.
It is really weird when, I don't know. Jack
Other half of the...
Thank you
thanks,
for
dude.
this super chat. He said, other half of the Indian extravaganza.
We'll post
That
selfies.
sounds way fun.
We'll post
extravaganza.
We'll post selfies from the restaurant tomorrow so they can be a part of our fun. I appreciate it.
And super chat from Charles Wallace. Dinner fund.
Well, geez.
I mean, now we're gonna have to go.
Now we're gonna have to go somewhere else too. Yeah, I think we can. Every time we go to the Indian place, I spend $42. So
not every time. Sometimes you have to take
less.
A crew.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, that's true because we take the kids, but we're not taking the kids tomorrow. So yeah, looks like with those super chats, we'll go to Indian food and then we'll go out for cocktails afterwards. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that.
Angel Raven 444 said Kirby office chair. I don't know what it is. Oh, they're joking about a vacuum.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's like a riding lawnmower vacuum cleaner.
Alonzo White said, I had to stop my house cleaning to wish you both a happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's so nice. Okay. Yeah. Ed Dupree says, I have YouTube Premium worth every penny because I don't watch program TV. Also a Patreon. Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate that. Yeah. And, you know, here's the other thing, too. For those of you that are on Patreon, I will start a comment thread over there. Actually, I'll do it right now. I want to know from you how we can create more value for you on Patreon. You know, like daily. And here's the thing. It's got to be sustainable for me, right? Like I can't spend hours and hours and hours doing stuff because I already spend hours and hours doing stuff. But can we give you more little random videos, more little, I don't know, you know, cause I can, like the video I made today, I just did it with my phone and just uploaded it. Those kinds of things we can do a bunch, but I don't know what you want to see. And I don't know what we can do to give you more value. Do you want more of the off topic behind the scenes things? Do you want, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't want to do a bunch of editing. I don't want to do a bunch of like high production stuff. But if there's sneak peeks into stuff that you want to see or behind the scenes things you want to see that I can film with my phone and upload them throughout the week, give me some ideas there that we can give you value so that we can grow Patreon more. Because the more we grow Patreon, the more I can do, you know, guitar demos and stuff because that's what I use that money for. I'll be honest with you. My entire Patreon, when I get paid from Patreon, it pays my Sweetwater bill. That's all it does. And that's what I use to buy this stuff for, because, you know, we don't get a lot of free stuff. We got, you know, Gibson sent me a guitar. We get a few things here and there. But for the most part, when you see me buying a new tool from StewMac, when you see me for a video or whatever, I use those Patreon dollars for that. So no lie, I get paid on the first from Patreon. That money goes straight to whatever I just bought for a video on my Sweetwater card from that month. Literally, that's where it goes. So that is not a joke. I don't use that money for anything else. So the more we can grow that, the more we can do, because I will continue to do that. So tell me how to give you more value. And I want to. I kind of come up dry for ideas, I guess, is a problem. And I don't know why I've never had this conversation before and asked you about it. And for those of you that are not on Patreon, like, you know, comment maybe in the comments under this video afterwards what you would like to see. What would make you want to join Patreon? you know, where we could give you more value, because then there's no commercials. Then there's none of that, because I don't turn ads on for those videos. So there's no commercials, there's no nothing. You know, you could get content all week over there with no ads, because I purposely turn the ads off for those videos.
Super chat from Andrew House. Thank you for the super
Thank you,
chat.
Andrew.
Happy anniversary, guys. From Ingest92.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
Very nice. I feel like, I mean, like, does Mr. Goat know who Ingest9 is? Because he's like, calm down. Like,
I haven't seen that name around before. So if you've commented before.
Well, I like her. She says I have good hair.
I know. If you've commented before in Just 9, oh, maybe she's new since last week. I don't know, but thank you for being around. I appreciate it.
Oh, maybe like that person's with Andrew House?
Yes. That's what it appears to be. I don't want to make assumptions, but start any rumors, you know.
That's how rumors get started. Mr. Go said Patreon would be a fun monthly member interview. Everyone I've met has been great. How they met you, etc.
Ooh.
Just writing it down.
I'm writing that
it's
down.
Getting serious.
That's a great idea. Because that's something that we could set up and pre-record it.
Oh, I think they want to see it for real.
Well,
like,
maybe they want to see
it during the hangout. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but I would want to make it.
Yeah,
I would want to make it available to more people.
Yeah. Okay, so while we're talking about this, Charles Wallace says, "I'm super simple. I enjoy hanging out. Still the best road trip in the past 20 years. Thanks. I do enjoy all the shorts." That's cool. You've been making shorts.
Maybe when somebody, I need to make more shorts. Maybe when somebody joins.
But you got some catching up to do.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. But maybe I'll kind of. I mean, I'm writing this stuff down. I really want to take this serious. I really do. I care about it. So. Because if people are worried about the amount of value they feel like they're getting out of YouTube, we got to figure it out. I do care about that.
So while we're talking about Mr. Goat, he said a couple things. Well, I'm going to go backwards because one of them I can just... Mr. Goat said, any one of you, he's not talking to us, or the folks present have a baby that hates bedtime. She goes down for a nap in 2 minutes, but when it's final bedtime, she fights for an hour or more. So y'all help out Mr. Goat in the comments if you have any.
Did you ever have that problem?
No. So my oldest, amazing. Like, your oldest is always like, like old wives' tales are like, they get out of the way because you're supposed to have another baby. Like, so your first one is just like so easy. You're like, oh, I totally got this. Slept well, no problems, none at all. Second one, that's how I ended up with a family bed, because I was like, you have to sleep. And I don't care if I have to hold you, but you're going to sleep because I'm going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I really like sleep,
yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
If I had a child that did not sleep, it would have been detrimental to all of our well-being, probably. And they still all love to sleep. Oh well. So yeah, I don't know anything about that. Okay, we did these. Sorry, y'all. There's like stuff clogging us up. Crazy Lazy Dave, should I buy my girlfriend a tomahawk? That's a cool tomahawk.
You should. This is the cool. Well, there's 3 tomahawks that I want to get. I already have one. This is a half-face blades. They call it the crescent hawk because it's got the crescent in the front, and it's a full-on battle tomahawk made by an ex-Navy SEAL in San Diego, and Navy SEALs actually do use this. This is probably one of the most quality pieces I've ever seen. It's really, really nice. It's a huge chunk of S35 VN steel, and it is really nice. I have 2 of his knives, too. But I want a Winkler tomahawk, too. but a Winkler is about $100 more than this one. And I really, really want a Winkler, but I just haven't. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for something you don't really use. I don't typically buy knives and stuff that I don't actually use. Of course, I'll never use this because I'm not going to scalp anyone. So, yeah.
Okay, I didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Go ahead.
Oh, hang on. Just kidding. Oh, this scroll bar. They need an update, man. Andrew House, thank you for the super chat. Yesterday's stream was great. You gotta love a fine pen. And Jess9 is my wife who watches with me on Thursdays. Calm down, MG.
I love it. Well, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. We have picked up a few husband and wife teams.
Yeah, and usually we don't get to hear about them, though.
No.
Like, I learned about some, like, very accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy I used to work with, and we all work remotely, so very rarely saw him except like once a year. Doesn't work with me now. But I remember one time he was like, me and my wife lay in the bed and watch your videos. I'm like, that's weird.
I think our neighbor did that too. Eric and
Yes.
his wife did too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're probably not watching much YouTube now with 2 kids.
No.
Anyway, thanks for being here,
If they were,
Andrew.
they could help with the whole sleeping thing.
True.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew and wife.
And wife.
And thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, Mr. Goat really wants like a chill community. Do y'all know each other? There's like lots of jokes. Calm down, Andrew. Like what is happening?
Even if you just feel like you know each other, that's all that matters. I don't even care.
And maybe that's what
I think
it is
great.
also related to what he's talking about, like wanting to build up some of those friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could talk to and ask questions or try to Ivan, Charles, Doc, Paul, Rob, and others I'm missing. Good folks worth knowing. Yeah, you have like a core group that's always there, right?
Yeah, we do. And Scott Harrington is there now.
Mm.
He's really cool. Rob's there. Rob F is there.
I should pop in. I don't know what
you should.
A lot of these people look like anymore. Like
yeah,
there's new people.
Mm-hmm. No, that'd be cool. Next time we do it, yeah. So we do a live hangout on Zoom. The top level of
that should be soon, actually.
The top level of YouTube members and the top level of Zoom, we do a live Zoom hangout. Our Patreon and YouTube members, we do a live Zoom hangout on the 4th Monday of every month.
Which is Monday, because the first was on a Monday. So it's this Monday.
Oh, so it's this Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, get over there and join and be a part of that.
So Monday the 22nd.
I'm glad it's this Monday because it's the 4th Monday every month. I'm glad it's this Monday because the following Monday is going to be crazy.
Why?
Because it's going to be the week before the 31st and we're going to be bonkers.
It's also the week before of the wedding.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
We have lots of things to do.
Our son's getting married on the 4th and I'm actually officiating the wedding, so we have a lot of crazy things happening over the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. I think I haven't seen this one, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Super chat from Dog Dr. Tim. Thanks, Tim. Now I always see Tim, and used to it was Timothy, so now I don't know if he prefers Tim or Timothy. Have a great and memorable anniversary, and I hope you have many more. Indian, Eastern, or Indigenous. This is Eastern.
Eastern.
I lived in Oklahoma and loved all the food at the Kiomanchi festivals we attended. Delicious. Yeah, I don't think we have any indigenous food here. We actually learned about one in Denver we didn't get to go to yet. Some friends of ours.
Yep.
But I definitely don't think there's anything here.
Yeah, No, this is East Indian food.
Yeah.
Some sweet curry and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Not sweet, it's spicy.
Spicy. You definitely
Thank
have to
you,
get
Tim.
medium or below. And I can handle some spice. But that place,
They like it.
they like some spice.
Sassy Cat, thank you for the super chat. I hope you both are doing well.
We are.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
hope
you.
you're doing well too. I feel like I haven't seen you around as much.
He's been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just lurking
Thank
on
you.
the Thursday then, because that's really the only day I see.
Yep.
Haseen Z. I see you carrying a knife. Have you slaughtered and skinned an animal before?
I have not. I do not. No, I have not. Not a big hunter. I mean, a lot of fish, but I wouldn't use this knife for fish. No, I'm a collector, and I really enjoy the engineering and the craftsmanship. This is made in North Carolina. I just really enjoy things that people make, and I think they're very cool, and the design and the work that goes into this kind of stuff. I have an appreciation. I think it's because I sell a pretty boutique product that we make here, and so it just draws me to enjoy other things that are made with time and engineering and thinking, and I just think it's neat.
So Dave Lavallo says, put the knife down. Sorry, that's funny.
Never.
Mr. Goat, anything exciting? Also, is that why Mr. Goat is still here? It's because he can't get the child to bed? Because
Maybe.
I feel like he's usually like, I gotta go.
Yeah, maybe.
Mr. Goat, anything exciting in the auto world to watch for? Every eco creation has ruined the vehicle performance in under 32-degree weather. It's been negative 20 here this past week. Barn burner at 18 today. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that this morning when I got in my combustion engine car and thinking about and wondering actually how my lithium batteries in my van were doing. Probably gonna have to plug that because the temperature trippy thing happens. I'm gonna have to plug it in to reset all the stuff when it gets.
Is it drained? Or are you saying it will be?
I don't. It's
Why don't you just run it for a little while?
It's fully charged. I ran it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole car thing's interesting because
Gary today posted. He was like taking a poll, like all of you who have electric vehicles, like tell me, like what's going. And he must have gathered some data from his Facebook friends, and then later he posted. He was like, "Sounds like you have like a 40% reduction in performance." Like,
yep.
Anyway,
friggin' Facebook took my post down.
About what?
The ammo that I bought.
Oh, really? You can't post ammo?
Apparently, they take it as I'm trying to sell it. And you cannot sell controlled substances. I guess it's one of their things. So they took my post down and gave me a friggin' strike or whatever. Yeah. So we have local to us. We took this firearms training class. Like, the guy he's like really good. He like trains you on on all the next level stuff and on beginner stuff too. And he shoots these bullets and they're green and they have some kind of fancy coating on them. Well, we went to a trade show a couple weeks ago and there's this guy there and I didn't know you could get ammunition locally. And he's got and I pull these bullets out and he's like, "Have you ever shot my stuff before?" And I was like, "No, I never have." And I pulled it out and it's green and I was like, "Wait a minute, I have." So anyway, I bought 500 rounds from him today. He's super reasonable, but of course he's a local guy. He's just a retired vet, little small business in the back of this building, doing really good stuff. So I figured, I'll thank Gary for turning me on to his stuff. So I just tagged Gary. I was like, "Thanks, Gary, for turning me on to Load Up Ammo," or whatever the name of it's called. Posted a picture of the box. And Facebook took it down. I was like, "Dang it. I was just trying to give him some love." Yeah.
Sorry. Van Shank Guitars, what's your opinion of the Henkel line of kitchen knives?
They are, as far as German knives go, they are very nice. I do not have any Henkels. I had some Wusthoffs I gave my son. But I would totally get Henkels. I probably should get some, actually. The thing about German knives is they're tougher. So if you're cutting a lot of stuff that's harder, like you wouldn't use Japanese knives to cut frozen food. You wouldn't because I have like a bunch of Japanese knives, so I wouldn't use Japanese kitchen knives to cut frozen food. I wouldn't use it to cut anything with a lot of bones in it. German steel is softer, but it's also way tougher. So for most people, it's probably a better idea, actually. Japanese knives they're amazing, and they're the sharpest thing you'll ever put in your hand. But they take some work they're a whole thing. You know, they're great. Like, they're awesome, but they're a whole thing.
Curtis Chavez, does anyone else have trouble getting your house or belongings organized? I try, move clutter from one place to another, then fail miserably.
Marie Kondo, baby.
Does it bring you joy?
Does it bring you joy?
I think, I don't know. I think I've always been fairly organized. Mm-hmm. But then living in a motorhome and realizing the ticket is, one, to have less, then you're not moving stuff.
Yeah, having less.
And everything having a place. Because it has to have a place in a motorhome or it goes everywhere. So everything has a place.
Yep.
Which is really good for me because I've always been like, why didn't you put it back where it goes? And I'm still like that.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at in here. Is it's like I just if everything has a place, it's cool because you can find everything. It works awesome. But when you run out of space and then you have to put something in front of something, you know, how many guitar cases are stacked up right there? There's like 6 of them. It's like halfway across the room.
I don't know. I couldn't hardly go look in the mirror in the bathroom though because I like ran into a guitar box.
Oh yeah, that bathroom is full of guitar boxes.
Yeah, behind the door and everything.
Oh, I know. There's too many.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. There's another one coming tomorrow. I know. It's out of control. Like, it's crazy. But I have to keep those because Gibson's got to go back. This, all this stuff's happening. So, yeah, hopefully we will have a solution to this problem very soon. But it's, we will have. But it's all in the works. All in the works.
Tom F. wants to know, what 1911 were you looking at when you went with the CZ instead?
A rose gold Nighthawk.
No, you weren't.
No, I'm interested in, that day I was looking at a Kimber, but I kind of decided I didn't want a Kimber that day. And the other one I was looking at is the Springfield, the FBI one. They just came out with a new version. Coleon Noir just had a video about it today. They just came out with a new version of it. But so the older version because it wasn't out. This one wasn't out yet. Springfield. What is it called? TF something. I want to say NFT, but I know that's not it. Anyways, I was gonna get one of those, but they didn't have it. And then he's like, "Here, you should try this Shadow 2." And I was like, well, I know I want a Shadow 2. I might as well just buy that now. So I did. I shot that thing yesterday. It was so good. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Dawn Marie, first time here or listening to any live chat. Happy anniversary.
Well, thanks.
Thanks.
And thanks for joining us.
All right. Van Shank Guitars. Have you heard about the movie Netflix has had to pull from the network due to people calling the police in India? No.
No.
What was it? I did hear about there was a, because it said India, I think this movie was based in India, but they used images that weren't approved to be in the movie.
Ooh.
But they were very specific. Like it's a child. I don't think they're a child now, but it was a child with a skin condition that they used in this movie, and it caused this huge uproar in like
really?
a Reddit group I'm in. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, super wild. So I don't know about the police one though.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
Doc Siltonen, did I ever tell you the story about me buying my wife a Remington 1100 for our first anniversary? True story, and we stayed married until the end. 23 years. I mean, I don't know why that's such a weird thing, like practical gifts. I've never had a problem with that. But I also don't like useless gifts, or thoughtless gifts. So
Thoughtless.
I would rather have practical than thoughtless.
Yes.
Or something I didn't want or need, or some collectible thing. Like, you don't know me if that's what you bought me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You don't want any, like, angel plates or anything? Yeah. We don't need, like, in our new house, we don't need, like, a curio cabinet with, like...
There will be none.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
Poo
funny.
Ninja. Will you folks consider getting a pet dog or cat, lizard, or anything?
Well.
We'll consider anything. It doesn't mean we'll do it. I don't know.
The funny thing is...
Oh, gosh. You just changed your picture to a lizard. On Facebook.
I did. Because we are getting a lizard and a dog.
Yes.
Our daughter has a lizard and a dog. So we kind of already have a lizard and a dog. Yeah. Not all the time, but...
Dr. Tim said, what is the NC knife? I need to know this kind of stuff.
Oh. Dude, there's a bunch of knives in North Carolina. Microtech is up there. This is Winkler. Winkler SD1. This is my favorite fixed blade knife. It's 80 CRV2. It's parkerized, and it's got a little pocket sheath, and I love this knife. Absolutely love this. You can use this for anything. Again, this is another one that was designed for a Navy SEAL. It's really a combat knife, but I use it as just a everyday utility. I use this for everything. And this knife's fun because it doesn't matter what you stick it in. It doesn't matter if you, I pried with it a little bit, whatever. It does not matter. This knife is phenomenal. I love it. And it's small enough. And of course, it's just carbon steel. So it's sharpened super easy. Just whack it on a strap a couple of times a week and it stays razor sharp. It's really, really cool. And then it's maple. So what I do is I have some neutral shoe polish. Because you could use blade wax. Like for steel knives, you're not supposed to like let them expose to the moisture. So they make blade wax. But it's just, I have some neutral shoe polish. So I just put a paper towel and I wipe the whole thing down. The handle is sculpted maple and the blade, and I just wipe the whole thing down about once a month. And it's awesome. I love it. My favorite knife.
Jason Albert says, my wife is leery of indie food because she's allergic to peanuts. A lot of that type of food usually has some sort of peanut sauce or peanuts in it. I would say the advantage there being peanuts are a known allergen.
Mm-hmm.
and so they would have to disclose it if you asked.
Yep.
Unless cross-contamination is an issue for her. But
Just
I feel
depends
like,
how sensitive.
I mean,
Because
like,
you don't do peanuts either.
I don't do peanuts. I'm not allergic though. I just, what's a word that's not allergic? I have a.
You're definitely sensitive to them.
I am. I feel like I could be allergic, so I don't want to test it. The last time scared me.
Yeah.
So I don't do peanuts either. And I know like what I like there is, I would never go to an Indian place if you're allergic to coconut. Like,
oh yeah.
I think they put a lot of coconut milk and stuff. But coconut and spices and I don't know. I don't have any. Yours doesn't have peanuts either, and you like peanut stuff.
Correct.
He really likes pad thai, which is always got peanuts, and the Mexican place we like actually has like a peanut based salsa that you really like.
Yep. Tim, check out Ridge Runner Blades. They are a knife dealer in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And they have some really cool things there. From normal, like, Microtech kind of stuff to handmade, really cool stuff. But they're a Winkler dealer, too.
Curtis Chavez says, aversion to peanuts. It's not an aversion. I love peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. Mr. Goat said, I have an aversion to tequila and Southern Comfort.
Oh, man.
I love tequila.
I love tequila,
I've
too.
never had Southern Comfort.
Mine's Maker's Mark. I can't do Maker's Mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's too sweet.
I can't-
Anything really sweet like that just gives me a
I can't say
6.
I love tequila either, because that's not true. Like, I do not love all tequila.
You like good tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc Silton said ammo is a controlled substance like heroin or coke or meth. Wow, that's weird.
No, it's something to do with, I don't know what it is. It's just a Facebook thing, I think.
Dr. Tim, I recently bought and love a Milk Street Nakiri knife. It is very thin, sharp, and maneuverable. It's the veggie killer.
Yep. I just actually, not extremely recently, I think I got it on a Black Friday sale or something right after Christmas or right before Christmas. I got an Akiri for the first time, and I really, really like that. That's the square one. The one that's all the way on the end.
Mm-hmm.
I love that thing. So I'll tell you my 2 places where I get kitchen stuff. Carbon Knives in Denver, Colorado. They have actually a walk-in store that you can go to. And I bought my first Japanese knife. I bought a bunka there.
And they really educated you.
Yes.
Like, we went one time and didn't buy anything.
Yep.
And then you went again.
Yep.
So they really took the time to educate.
And my first knife, I was there an hour and a half, and he was like, brought out everything, taught me all this stuff. Because Japanese steel is like a completely different language. I can look at a pocket knife and I can tell you if it's a good pocket knife, or any of this kind of stuff. Like, if I can tell you this blade steel, the properties of it and how good it is at keeping an edge and how tough it is and all that kind of stuff. I'm fairly educated on that. But when you go to Japan and, Japanese white and blue and all of their stainlesses have different names and all this kind of stuff, it's a completely different language, and the way they grind in the blades and the way they forge them and all that kind of is totally different. So I had to learn a lot. And so Carbon Knives in Denver is where I got my first couple knives. And then there's a place in it's all over Canada. I think they have one in Ottawa. They have one in Toronto. It's called. They have a really great YouTube channel too. So if you're curious about Japanese cutlery, for kitchen cutlery, it's called knifeware.com, and it's knife WEAR, like underwear but knife. Knifeware.com, and they have a fantastic YouTube channel, and their mail order service is phenomenal, and they repair and they sharpen and it's really cool. It's a really good place. I bought my Nakiri there, and I bought what else have I bought there? I bought another knife there too. I can't remember what.
Dog Dr. Tim says, you guys need to go to Viking Kitchen Store in Atlanta. We were there a few years ago, and it made me want to rob a bank.
I will have to go there. Brianna wants to go to the pen show with me in April.
Well, I'm glad you have a buddy to go with you. How about that?
Because she wants to go.
Can I drop y'all off and I'll do something
I
funner?
guess.
I'll do something funner.
She wants to go because, I kind of turned her on to this fountain pen thing because of...
She has a different purpose.
Right. She's been painting for years. But the minute... I don't know. I just saw something. The minute she picked up an ink pen... She's always been like that, though. She used to draw with Sharpies and all kind of stuff. But I gave her a fountain pen, and she started drawing with it. And the minute she got that thing in her hand, it unlocked a completely different aspect of her art and her talent that I don't think she knew she had it.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, we have a bunch of stuff coming tomorrow. I bought her a couple more fountain pens and a couple more ink colors and stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to go over there and I'm going to teach her how to ink up a fountain pen. And I bought her also a tray of different sample colors and stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be fun. So she can actually have to do some art.
Dog Dr. Tim, it's pretty bad when you need a DD for going to a pen show. For sure.
The knife show was the same thing. So you remember my Epiphone Explorer that I had? I sold that guitar to fund the knife show in June. That's why.
And you still spent all of my money also.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money that day.
Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Doc Siltonen, talking about the gift he bought for his wife, he said, we were shooting trap every week, so the 1100 was a gift she had a huge use for.
That's pretty cool.
See, couples activity, too.
Shooting trap.
Van Shank Guitars, the movie was about a Brahmin woman that wanted to be a chef and cooked some meat. Apparently, Brahmin are vegetarians, and people were incensed about the depiction.
Oh, wow.
That is pretty wild.
That is interesting.
Marcia Murray said, how about a pet mini cow? I just found out about them. Yeah, mini goats and mini cows are so cute.
She wants a tortoise.
I do want a tortoise. I don't know why. But
I want a python. I wear them on my feet all the time, but
that makes it creepy.
A live one would be cool. Yep.
Let's see. It's after 10 o'clock.
If you go to Facebook and you look on my profile picture, that's my daughter's bearded dragon. He's pretty cool. He's pretty neat. He's got a lot of personality. It's after 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Somebody said something, though. New Gun Guy said, did you ever use... Oh, where did it go? Oh my gosh, did you see it just leave? I wasn't even touching anything. Renaissance wax on guns and knives. Shiny.
Yes.
Mr. Goat said, moderation and tequila are my issue. It's too slippery.
That's the problem.
Mr. Goat says, half and half pizza. Who gets what on it? I mean, for the most part, we like the same toppings. I would not have cheese, though.
Yeah, and I'm not bound to cheese, so I don't mind not having it if you don't want it.
But there's a pizza place in Chattanooga. Well, actually, any good pizza place that's vegan. Chattanooga has one. Nashville has one.
Mm-hmm.
I will eat a little bit of vegan cheese on those.
Colorado
pizzas.
has one. Denver, the one by the lake. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
By the lake. We only went there once, though.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Not as good as that burger place that's right there.
No, that place is good too. We should probably let these people go to bed.
Probably.
And by that, I mean us. Because it's late. I got 2 videos tomorrow in the same day because we're going to do an unboxing of my new guitar. And we've got a Strat pickup, Tele pickup video coming out tomorrow too. So I shot that today. I just got to finish editing it. So, and some other things coming out tomorrow actually posted in news.
Did you just cut yourself?
Yeah.
Good job.
Happens. Cool. Well,
Favorite
thanks, guys.
vegan cheese? Any not Daya.
Violife. What's the Follow Your Heart?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Ew. Your hangout is Monday night, right?
Yes. And we're hanging out Monday night on Zoom. So if you are not a whatever it is, Tone Freak Patreon member or YouTube member, get on that.
Oh,
crap.
Somebody had another instead of whatever your bro thing was. Said they were like sustain-ex, like sustain ex. I was like, it's pretty good too.
That's pretty good too.
Anyway, I meant to tell you that earlier. I forgot.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Forget what I'm doing.